Hello everyone, it's Mr. Tom2304 bringing you a new discussion video on whether or not Bleach is back. And what the hell does back mean? Well, if you're an internet manga reader, then it's pretty much impossible for you to not have heard of the big three, which are essentially One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, although this has been disputed as of recently. While One Piece manages to, pretty much storm into the lead all the time, most of the time, Naruto and Bleach have always been they've always been rather competitive for the second space spot. Lately, however, though, Bleach has been slipping quite a bit, and it's been out of the 10 occasionally. Naruto's firmly in the second place, and in Japan anyway, Bleach has been sort of usurped by Toriko, a series about eating, I think, but that's not the same really in the West. The West, Bleach is still pretty much firmly in the third place. But what are the reasons for this loss in popularity, and is it getting its popularity back? Does popularity differ in the East and the West, and why? Do they want different things out of the manga, and is it delivering? So let's start with the reasons as to why it's losing popularity. At least why I think it lost popularity anyway. When it first came out in 2001, Bleach had what was pretty much, universally agreed as one of the best opening arcs ever in a shonen manga, the Soul Society arc. The story was just full of twists. It was really well told. Everything was cohesive, concise. The battles were amazing. They looked fluid. The characters were memorable. Then it went into the Arrancar arc with Aizen being revealed as the villain. You had characters like Grimmjow and Ulquiorra come into it, who are also extremely popular, very memorable characters. They were synonymous with Bleach. And, during the Arrancar arc, although maybe the storytelling was perhaps starting to dip a little bit, it was still incredibly popular. And, it was definitely still up there, still contesting with Naruto. As the Arrancar arc started to wind to a close, it was pretty obvious that the editors were riding Kubo's back. He was running out of time. He perhaps hadn't planned things as well as he should have done. And we were starting to see a lot of the major fights being drawn to closes very quickly. The first one that comes to mind, in my opinion, is Shinji versus Aizen. I think there definitely should have been more to than that. The Tosen fight against Komamura and Hisagi was drawn to a close very quickly, although that is still one of my favourite fights of all time. And then just all importantly, the Aizen versus Ichigo fight was only about 4 chapters long. Maybe not even that many. And then after that, because after an arc, or even just after a major battle, you usually have a couple of recuperation chapters. He had to wind up about 5 years worth of story arc in 2 chapters. If that's not rushing, then I don't know what is. And there were just also a lot of Deus Ex Machinal being sort of pulled out of nowhere. The final Getsuga Tensho, the Hogyoku's true ability, and the way it keeps forcing transformations on Aizen. I'm one of these people that didn't actually have didn't really have problems with Aizen having all those transformations, because really it made sense from what we were told. We were told that the Hogyoku was going to try and keep him alive, and it was very much the Hogyoku was a sentient being. It wasn't just Aizen's doing. However, it wasn't explained very well, and it did sort of come out of nowhere. So at this point, Bleach was starting to slip, especially in the West, I think, with the degradation of Aizen's character, as he sort of just became this raving lunatic. There were some shining moments though, like Gein's betrayal and death. That was really nicely done. But on the whole, the finale of the Arrancar arc was a bit disappointing, and it started to make the series drop a bit in people's estimations. Then came the Lost Agent arc. Now, I'm gonna throw my hands up and say that I enjoyed the Lost Agent arc for what it was. It wasn't very much like Bleach. He diverted and he tried to take a different tone, a different stance, a different style altogether, and it wasn't very well received. Now, in Japan, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of what they like, a lot of what's popular is all down to characters. They enjoy characters, they enjoy good characters. They like to see characters they like, because obviously in Japan they get to vote on the Shonen Jump. They get to vote what series is in there in the weekly table of contents. They get to decide the rankings. And, it's no secret that if a character they really love suddenly reappears or does something, the chapter usually does better. That's a correlation. With the Lost Agent arc, Kubo took something of a risk. He had Ichigo lose his powers, and there were no Shinigami for almost 60 chapters. Dangerous move. We didn't particularly like it, but I mean, it definitely wasn't received very well in Japan. The new characters, Execution, the Fullbringers, just weren't that interesting. I liked Ginjo and Tsukishima, and I did like Yukio and Mo as well. And to be honest, I mean, let's face it, out of the Vizards, the only ones who were interesting, at least to start with, were Shinji and Hiyori. I mean, I hate Hiyori, but she was a popular Vizard. People also really liked Riruka from Execution. I didn't particularly like her that much, but lots of people did. So I don't really see the beef with the characters. Admittedly, in some aspects, Kubo's character design slipped a little bit. But as far as characters in Lost Agent went, I didn't really see too many problems with it. Some problems did revolve around the storytelling. There was a lot of mystery in the Lost Agent arc, a lot of mystery, not much fighting, and it seemed very odd because we just had this massive Dragon Ball Z-esque fight between Ichigo and Aizen, and then everyone suddenly got downplayed. There were just fights between really weak characters, essentially. If the story had been changed a little bit, it would have been suited far better to be in the beginning of the series, because that's just what the power levels were like. But there was some good things about Lost Agent that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the mystery. I enjoyed how a lot of it was set at night time. I really enjoyed the focus, at least at the beginning of the arc, on the Nakama characters. What I didn't like was all the false build-up. Ginjo, Kugo, the first substitute Shinigami, and the main focus of the arc, at the beginning of the arc, continually hinted to knowing a lot about Isshin and a lot about Ichigo's family. Never went anywhere. It never went anywhere. Even when Isshin finally turned up, it never went anywhere. Which was a real shame. The ending, when we saw that flashback of Kugo and Tsukishima and never went anywhere, disappointing. And the thing is, people just weren't happy. I mean, when the Shinigami finally did turn up and Kenpachi offed Giriko Kutsuzawa in one hit, people were like, oh, well, we may not have liked them, but these are still characters we stayed with for 60 chapters. Why are they just getting off like nothing now? However, now that the Lost Agent is over, Kubo has entered his final arc, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and it's, spoiler in case you're just an anime watcher, they're fighting the Quincy, and frankly, to me, this is probably going to be the best arc. Admittedly, we're only 40 chapters in, but it's pretty incredible so far. So far, it hasn't let up. Every single chapter has been pretty incredible. He's using this arc to tie up a lot of loose ends. For example, Nell and Cone have returned to the storyline. We've already seen Sasakibe's Bankai, we've already seen Yamamoto's freaking Bankai, neither of which disappointed. He's on top-notch form at the moment in terms of design, both character and ability. We've seen the new villains, the Sternritter, for the most part anyway. There are a lot of them still hidden. A lot of them we don't even know their names yet. But they're really cool. They're really menacing. Juhar Bach is an awesome villain. He's contesting Aizen just for how badass he is. He's got a great design. He's killed Yamamoto, for crying out loud. The Quincy mean business as opposed to the Arrancar who just didn't stop talking during battles. But, and we've also seen the Royal Guard as of late. They were interesting. I really like their designs, and I stay by that. I think their designs are some of the best we've actually ever had in the series. They're very unique. They're very enjoyable, and I think a lot of people agree with me now. But they were certainly disputed when they first arrived, but now I think people really have taken a shine to the Royal Guard, and they actually really like them. The thing is, Kubo's delivering on a lot of promises that he made a lot earlier on in the series and never materialised. For example, like the Royal Guard, the Spirit Palace, the Spirit King. We're going to see him soon. We've already seen his eyes. Masaki Kurosaki, the truth behind Ichigo. The truth behind Isshin's probably going to come out. Hopefully, anyway. Now that Ginjo and Tsukishima have returned to the storyline, we should hopefully get more on that. The thing is, the Thousand Year Blood War arc, it is the final arc, and it is, by the looks of things, going to cover everything. It looks like everything's going to be revealed. People did worry that maybe we won't see every Bankai, but I think now that we've seen Yamamoto's, I don't think there's much to worry about. But the Thousand Year Blood War arc, for what it is, I mean, I'm something of a forum goer, and especially on, like, say, Bleach Asylum, which obviously is a biased Bleach forum, but you do get people on there that, don't like the chapters. And every single week, it's 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, just obliterating the rest of them. Bleach Wiki has a poll up at the moment saying, well, how do you think the Thousand Year Blood War arc is doing? 10 out of 10, destroys everything. I don't care if they're Bleach-focused sites. That tells you something. It tells you something. The Lost Agent got an average of 6 out of 7. Well, no, not 6 out of 7. 6 or 7 out of 10 for the entire arc. As far as Thousand Year Blood arc is going at the moment, it's looking to be a 10. We've still got about 9 odd years left of this stuff, and Kubo's pacing is fantastic at the moment. So the question I pose to you is Bleach back? I mean, what does back mean, though? As far as table of contents ranking, it's not doing much better in Japan. Recently, the chapters have all been in the top 10, which is nice, especially when recently some of them have really hit low. Chapters like Byakuya's defeat and Yamamoto's death were fairly well received. But I don't know. I mean, like, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Is Bleach back? If so, why? If not, why? I do think over in the West, at least, Bleach is definitely on the rise again. I'm both a Naruto and a Bleach fan. More a Bleach fan. But, I mean, the positions are definitely not contested again yet. Naruto's definitely still in second place. Although, as far as table of contents rankings in Japan have been going, Naruto has been slipping recently. I don't think people are too keen on the Obito revelation, and I don't think they're too keen on where the fight is going. Which I can understand. The fight's been going on for a very long time now, and, it's not really progressing very far, and it looks like it's perhaps just going to end with some kind of Naruto no Jutsu. However, it's pretty unavoidable that people are going to be making comparisons between Naruto's final war and Bleach's final war, which we're in at the moment. And the Arrancar arc's final war, was kind of abysmal, and that was just a one-sided whitewash. Now things are real, things are gritty. They're down and they're getting dirty, and I really think he's sorting it out. He's kind of fixing everything that was wrong with the story beforehand. Every week we're given something new. That's his new pacing for you. From my personal opinion, Bleach is back. Bleach, in my eyes, has been back ever since Tsukishima started to mind rape Ichigo. Because from then on, I really, really enjoyed the Lost Agent arc, and the Thousand Year Blood War arc has continued to blow me away with every chapter. So, what do you think? And what do you think of the Thousand Year Blood War arc as a whole? Do you like it as much as that? Do you think it's a contender to the Soul Society arc as far as it's going now? It is only 40 chapters in. Do you think Bleach is back? I mean, does it have a chance at going back up the TOCs? Admittedly, it is apparently the 6th best-selling manga of all time still, and every new volume that comes out sells roughly 500,000 copies in its first couple of weeks, which is pretty impressive still. So it is still up there. Even volumes with relatively unpopular characters like Quilgay Opie on the front still manage to sell that much. So people do just still buy Bleach for the sake of wanting to know. Which, is a good thing in my eyes. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below, do you think Bleach is back or not? I think it probably is. I think he's sorting out everything that went wrong. I mean, we're getting old characters back. Conan Nell are back. Grimjo has already made a slight appearance. Harabel came back. I forgot about that. Harabel came back. Kukaku and Ganju came back. He's just setting up for the ultimate final battle, and I want to be there every step of the way. The Thousand Year Blood War arc is enticing me. If you gave up on Bleach during the Lost Agent arc, please give the Thousand Year Blood War arc a try. Chapter 480 onwards, it's fantastic stuff. It's old Bleach back, to be honest. Big battles, big revelations, nice storyline. Everything's being woven in. Everything's coming back. Give it a try. That's kind of all I've got to say now. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Follow me at Twitter, twitter.com/MrTom2304. Just have a great day, everyone, and I will catch you. I'm still hoping we're getting a Bleach chapter before Christmas. There are rumours of it being tomorrow, but I'm not sure it's going to happen, personally, because there's not been anything other than that. But if there is, I'll catch you on there for a review. If there's not, have a Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. I'll catch you next time. See you later.